Hello and welcome back to another great show. On this week's episode, we head on out to a secret gem in the Eastern Cape. We meet up with Matt from the UK. Matt's looking for the tough as nails Black Wildebeest, and he's going to try his luck with the extremely challenging walk and stalk bow hunt. This is African Hunter TV, bringing you adrenaline-packed hunting here on this bountiful continent. I'm Richard Leonard, this is Africa, my home, and I have the best job on this planet. I travel throughout Africa filming wildlife and adrenaline-packed hunting action. I've been passionate about wildlife and hunting videography for many years now. As a hunting cameraman, I get to experience incredible beauty, sometimes absolute chaos and very dangerous encounters here in the African bush. The challenge I face as a hunting cameraman can at times be extremely nerve-wracking. I always have to be out of the way near the back, like an invisible man. But when the action goes down, I have to be right in the front to capture everything on film just as it happens. This is African Hunter TV. Hunting doesn't get better than this. This was definitely one of the most exciting hunts I've been on in a long time. Not because of the animals we got, but because this was going to be Matt's first bow hunt here in the Eastern Cape. So this one was going to be real special. It all started with a friend telling me about this crazy New Zealand bloke who's an excellent hunter. He came to South Africa about a year ago, got his professional hunter's license here in the country, and now has got excellent at hunting our plains game.
Yeah, so Jackie's made a really good shot at about 125 yards here on this meat warthog sow. So just shot from the other side there. So no, that's really good shot there.
I had a client out from the UK who was looking for his first Eastern Cape hunt on a bow. So I was thinking to myself, let's get this really good New Zealand hunter to guide this very ambitious Englishman and let's see what happens. So I picked Matt up and he was carrying his new bow. I thought to myself, man, this guy loves a challenge. Not only is he taking on one of the toughest forms of hunting here in the Eastern Cape, but he's also got a new bow. Then he proceeds to tell me his wish list. The infamous grey ghost being his first choice. The bushbuck was also on the list, and to be honest, I was really starting to feel the pressure. This was going to be one tough hunt. Matt's been hunting for a long time, and he said to me, look, I'd like to brush up on my hunting technique before we head on out there. So I took him to Aquila Arms. Chris Evans is the owner there, and also runs the Aquila Arms Shooting Academy. So I just knew this would be the perfect place for Matt to fine-tune his skills. I was actually really surprised with Matt's shooting ability. He was naturally talented with the rifle and the bow. So at this point, I had a lot of confidence that when the pressure was on and the time came, he'd get the job done. So finally it was time to pack up and head on out.
I remember it was just more and more bush and mountainous and valleys and hills, and really I just remember the feeling of going in deep. That's the experience that I can remember. It was just going in deep, and we were driving for hours, and really that feeling of being actually in Africa. That was a great experience. So even the drive out there was great.
This time our destination of choice was Marshall Vale, owned by the De Beers and run by Willem De Beer. The lodge is perfectly placed in a valley surrounded by mountains and bushveld. Willem offers hunters over 50,000 acres of hunting ground. Exactly what I was looking for Matt's first leg of the trip.
We arrived, and no sooner had we pulled up and kind of all chaos broke loose. That's how it seemed. The outfit was like we got my guys onto some pigs that are going wild, and jump on the 4x4 now. We're going. So as soon as we got there, it was into the bush. I didn't really have time to get my backpack off the vehicle even. It was just jump on and we went to Warthog Mayhem. It was awesome.
Warthogs are quite a sought-after game here in the Eastern Cape, but for Willem, they're a huge pest. Willem also farms livestock, and what the warthogs do is they make holes in the fences and then the livestock get out. So it's a high priority for him to cull animals like this and get them off his property.
There were lots of dogs. They were hunting with dogs. It's not something I've never seen or experienced before. There was a pig or two in a hole. The workers were there busy digging rocks away and really just trying to pinpoint where the pig was in the ground. The whole time there were kind of warning bells being given from the people that were there that at any moment this pig could just run loose out of the hole, and make sure you're not standing in front of the hole. And there were kind of barrels, you know, on the hole as well, just waiting for this pig to come out. So it was kind of like a waiting game and a guessing game. No one really knew what was going to happen. And then all of a sudden there was kind of some grunting and some obvious noise underground, and before you know it, this pig had bolted out the hole. I just saw a barrel following it and a shot went off, and then everybody was just running after this pig. It was kind of funny. The end result was that the pig obviously knew the trails. He ran his favourite route into the nearest other hole that he was aware of, and he lived to see another day. Well, after the pig mayhem, we went for our first hunt, and I remember feeling like, wow, this is actually it happening. And we were going for some mountain reed buck, or the buck that are up on the mountains there. And there were several herds of buck down in the plains, but very quickly they saw us and got spooked and ran off. And then Marcel spotted a warthog, which was about 500 yards. So it was a very long shot, but the farmers were keen to just get rid of the pigs, and the shot went just over the top of it. And then we carried on up a bit further, same thing again, just stopping at different clearings, and we got onto a fallow deer, which we didn't take a shot on. That was the end of the day, and we got our heads down and were ready for a better day the next day. The first morning was an experience. Remember, for a guy fresh out of UK waking up in African bush is quite an experience. So just to get up in the lodge and come out with the still quiet morning air, and you know, the sounds of the animals, the birds, and just to be in that environment was a great experience, anticipating what the day was going to bring. I remember we just loaded up the gear that we needed onto the 4x4, just organised ourselves well for the day. Willem said to me that morning that he had a very special spot to take me to. He said it was an area of high ground where there were a lot of trophy animals, and we discussed what it was that I was looking for. We stopped, and from that point we were going to walk and stalk. And the first animals that we came across was a herd of Black Wildebeest. And I decided to take a shot off on one of the trophies that were in that herd. There were three trophy bulls that I could have taken, and so we picked one, and we went on quite a long walk and stalk getting onto these animals.
The herd ended up moving over the hill, and we thought it might be all over. Well, that was until we saw this lone bull. He didn't see us, so eventually Marcel had to give a shout just to get him to veer off his heading that was straight towards us. Man, what a cool first experience for Matt. We decided that was the bull we wanted. So Marcel planned the stalk and we were off.
Oi. Oi.
It was not going to be easy. Trying to pick a bull out of a herd and get close enough with that many eyes on you can prove to be quite a challenge.
We spent quite a lot of time following them. They were running around a lot in circles and kind of just almost looked like they were playing on the plains. And then they'd run off into a totally different area. So then we would have to kind of retrack where we'd gone and change our course and take note of the wind and try and get onto them again. I think it was the third or the fourth time that we'd actually tried to approach them and get onto them. Marcel positioned us in some shady area, which was nice just to get out of the sun for a bit and get a break. And he thought that the animals were going to come back around and head back towards us, and he almost kind of set us into an ambush situation. They came running in towards us, and as they started to go up the hill, that kind of slowed them down a bit.
The bull we were after moved slightly away from the herd, and I just couldn't believe our luck. He presented a perfect broadside shot, and now it was all up to Matt to make it count.
For me, I think that moment was really a special moment. So much came together in that moment. the frustrations earlier of not getting onto animals, and then everything just coming together where the animal lined up for me and I took the shot, and not only took the shot but landed the shot well, was really just a great emotional moment. And you know, I remember after seeing the animal fall, could just feel my heart beating in my chest, and I think that was just the adrenaline of realizing what had just happened. Day 2, after having such a successful day with the rifle the day before, it only made sense really to try and have an equally successful day on the bow.
Matt literally owned his bow for 3 weeks, and now we were taking on one of the most challenging forms of hunting here in Africa, a walk and stalk bow hunt.
Marcel was just scanning the plains to see what the animals were doing. He could see quite a long way off some blessbok ram with some females that was kind of on the other side of what looked like a dried out riverbed or in some kind of gorge. Walking through there quietly, we passed quite a few kudu and other species, but we were specifically going to go for this blessbok ram. We headed up quite a steep cliff. Marcel went over the ledge and checked where the animals were. And they were there, but it wasn't really the best position for us.
I was just going to climb back down here and come around up a little low creek there. Just trying to keep a low profile and not get into 40 or 50 yards. These rams just here.
Marcel decided that the best thing to do would be to actually go into the bush with the wind in our favour and actually try and walk and stalk right up onto them. So that was, that was a challenge, and it was amazing how easy it is to make noise when you're trying not to. We just followed his lead, hung back when he hung back and moved when he moved. And before I knew it, we were kind of in a position that looked quite favourable, and we stopped in that position.
We were watching 2 rams rutting. They looked completely distracted, but I had no idea how on earth we were going to get close enough for the shot.
They were some way off, but all of a sudden they ran down the hill to our left, and we saw them running in and around there, and Marcel said, just hold here, just wait.
All of a sudden, out of nowhere, I hear this strange sound next to us. It's Marcel, and he's making a dominant blessbok sound.
I remember Marcel telling me to draw my bow when I was there, just on my knees, ready to take the shot, waiting, and then just out of nowhere, this blessbok ram ran into view. Marcel made a noise which got its attention. I delayed maybe a second or 2 more than I should have or could have, and took the shot.
The blessbok ducked slightly, but Matt caused enough damage to make it count. I couldn't believe it. Everything went perfectly the day before, and again we pulled it off. And I got everything on camera, just as I'd hoped.
We basically just followed the blood trail for quite a long time and quite a distance, but it seemed that the animal had been running around in different directions.
We're just going on finding the blood trail itself, which is also hard in this country with the sun on. It dries and goes dark, and it's very hard to see.
And I remember on a couple of occasions wondering whether we were actually ever going to find it. And when we walked around the bush and Marcel was leading, and Marcel said, "There it is," and it was there on the floor, I think that was the moment for me where just great relief that we'd actually found it, and huge excitement of the fact that I'd actually achieved what it was I'd set out to do, which was to take an animal on a bow, and a trophy animal at that. This really did end up being the trip of a lifetime. I dreamt something up, and what actually happened was way above and beyond what I could ever have imagined. The way everything came together with the animals, both on the rifle and the bow, just made the whole trip such a success. And having outfitters like Willem and PH like Marcel, and the guides that could actually lead me and get me onto the animals, obviously all helped bring the whole thing together. But at the end of it all, I'm really going to go back to UK with a fantastic hunting African experience, and I really don't think I could have asked for anything better than what I got here this time round.
If you would like us to plan, arrange, or just film your African hunting safari for the normal affordable rates, then contact us at info@rtzmedia.co.za.